And so these are my contacts if you want to talk to me later. But now I would really love to talk to you. I really love to hear you. And I am really curious and interested on what is considered to be radical anthropology. Because in my master's, I had a big struggle with the university. It was really, really big because I went there and I intended only to use indigenous thinkers. And at the beginning, they wouldn't allow me. They wouldn't allow me because, you know, you have to study the whole, like, academic, canons and everything, and it's human rights and everything. And I did all the whole disciplines and everything. But at the end, I got sick. I was really sick. I was even able to walk. And for us, for our vision, it was really like a spiritual challenge, you know? And I was looking everywhere. Well, how can I use indigenous thinkers? How can I do it? Because there is no many publications. Only in this generation we are having like the first books that are being published, but it's really difficult to publish a book when you are indigenous. And it's really difficult to publish something and have this recognition if you don't have like this whole career and you are really recognized in the academy and you this big curriculum, and we don't really appreciate that kind of life. we prefer to live in the forest really and do ceremonies. And I went to the anthropologist friend. My mother is an anthropologist, actually. And I went to many teachers, even to you, I went to you, you know, to talk about this issue. And everybody was telling me, oh, you must do, como é que era? Uma ethnography, an ethnography. And as you are indigenous, you can do an auto-ethnography. And I was, okay, what is an ethnography? So I began like reading ethnographies, and it was really weird because they still use the indigenous as an object of research. And that hurted me. It didn't work for me. And I wasn't even allowed to go to my father or my family, you know, and treat them as I was a researcher. It's nonsense. It's nonsense to go to your grandfather and say, hey, Grandpa, can I record you and make you some questions? He was like, no. Sit there, drink this ayahuasca, and listen to me. And no records. No? So I went to this post-graduation, but I needed to begin another kind of initiation on our knowledge, our traditional knowledge, to be able to understand a little bit of what my fathers and my grandfathers were saying. And then I had this struggle. I realized it wasn't neither an ethnography, neither auto-ethnography. And at least I had this teacher that is like from the African religions in Brazil. And he saved me. He saved me because he asked me, oh, listen, okay, we are seeing in your test, it's pretty evident that you are suffering very much in the university, because yes, the university is colonial in everything, but I want to ask you some questions. First of all, how do you say thinking in your language, in the Tukano language? How do you say education in the Tukano language? How do you say memory in the Tukano language? And how do you say truth in the Tukano language? Because my research is about the right to truth and como é que direito à memória e à verdade, to memory and truth of indigenous nations. And I realized I never asked my father about that, and he was happy to answer me. And I managed to do a whole research using as a structure indigenous Tukano concepts on memory, truth, history, education, and everything. And so I built a text that has almost 200 pages that is written in the format of a ceremony. And I was talking about this whole epistemology thing, because we need to walk in circles to make I was telling my teachers, for me, university is like a labyrinth. And I was told one day about this history of an indigenous Greek that was lost in a labyrinth. His name was Theseus, and they put him in this labyrinth, and there was a big monster in this labyrinth wanting to eat him. And I feel lost in a labyrinth, and there is a monster that is wanting to eat me. This monster says to me that I am not allowed to use indigenous thinkers. This monster says to me that I am forced to use the whole structure he designed into his weird labyrinth, and that he will eat me, and then I will become just as he is, an academic. And I don't want it. And I was crying and getting ill and saying, no, you're not gonna bite me, and I will bite you back. And I'll find some way to get you dizzy, and then you'll go down in your, how do you say it? In your knees, and then we will speak as equals. Your wheat monster. It's like a giant black snake. The Yanomamis call her Lahara. Lahara is the spirit that eats everything. It's how they say they can see the colonization, the minoration. It eats everything. So there was this big spirit in the university, and it was trying to kill me, trying to kill my memory, my identity, and my freedom. And so I said, okay, I'm leaving this shit. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I beg your pardon. I said to myself, I'm just leaving to the forest, and then I'll know the answers. And when I came back, I just wrote something so much different. And I realized that really the one path that we were able to follow was the path of arts. The path of the silence. Because when we silence ourselves and we get rid of all this noise, we can connect to our heart and reach other connections with other people. And that it doesn't matter what culture is this people, because we are all humans. So that's why when I came the last Sunday, I don't know, it was Sunday, to the Extinction Rebellion, I don't remember, it was my first day in London. Wednesday. Yeah, and Jimena took me to this pink boat in the middle of Oxford Circus. And it was a really sunny day. It was warmer than Paris, at least. And we sang together with more than 2,000 peoples. And they were holding hands. I have visited Portugal and Belgium and Switzerland and Holland and France. And we have seen how difficult it is for Europeans to touch each other. and hold hands together. At this moment in Brazil, we say, I'll say it in Portuguese, ninguém larga a mão de ninguém. Como é que traduz isso?
Nobody let go of their hand of nobody.
Yeah.
Let go of their hand.
Don't let go of each other's hands because we're together.
Yeah. We cannot leave us. We must support ourselves. So it was really special to have this singing together. Okay, so did you enjoy it? Do you have any question? Please talk. Okay.